Okay, we are back to the Lasker Method. We are on chapter 4 and we are on the last 2 or 3 games. This game is a little longer than the other because it was played in a simul by Reuben Fine, a famous and top 10 player of the 1940s, and he lost. So it's kind of strange, right, that he lost, because again he was really strong, but he was playing in Moscow, and obviously they didn't tell him that the black player, this Alexander Chistiakov, was probably master level strength. The game starts with d4, e6. This seems that black is trying to invite white into playing e4 and enter the French defense, but e6 is also a way to avoid all the possible gambits that you have when you play f5 right away, because there is e4, g4, h4, whatever you can think of is there. And so if you don't want to remember the theory behind those gambits, you play e6. Knight f3, f5, g3, knight f6, bishop g2, bishop e7, castle, and castle. c4, d5. By this move we know that black is playing what we call the Stonewall Dutch. Now it's very interesting because this game was played in Moscow in 1937, and one of the proponents of the Stonewall Dutch was Botwinnik. So it's possible that this player was inspired by Botwinnik. Knight c3, c6, this is the Stonewall formation. Bishop f4, queen e8. Queen e8 is an important move, also if sometimes in reality you want to do this kind of maneuver. So generally queen e8 is more playable when one plays the classical Dutch. However, the problem generally is this pawn that is weak, and when you want to develop this, you need to have some way to protect it. Queen c2, queen h5, rook a b1, knight b d7, c5, knight e4, and b4. Okay. So obviously at this point it's kind of clear that black will attack on this side, the king side, and white is trying to have a game on the queen side. In fact, look at this. Botwinnik, in one of his games in 1936, so 1 year before this one, played bishop f6 here. And this was played in Rejewski-Botwinnik. But here, black played g5. So this is a kind of direct approach, right? Bishop c7, rook f6. I mean, more clear than this, I don't know what you need. h3, rook h6. I mean, this guy is a caveman clearly, because he's just going to directly to fight, no? Rook f e1, g4, h takes g4, f takes g4, and now there is knight h4. So here they write a comment that is interesting. they say that if white would have played knight takes e4, it would have continued with g takes f3, bishop takes f3, queen h2, and this wins the game. Interesting. Okay, so how does he win the game? Because there is no checkmate right away, right? So let's see that he does this. Probably it's material gain, maybe playing this. And as we can see, the point is the following: 2 knights for 1 knight. So maybe this is the reason. But more than win the game, it will be, he needs to convert the material advantage into a win, right? So that's, however, it's interesting, especially when this is here. Notice also that this is kind of important and nothing. It's kind of interesting because sometimes you can play a move like this. Nobody ever remembers this that is going back, and so maybe black plays something else, boom, he loses the queen right away. So that's a possibility. Okay, let's return to the position before. Okay, I think I've placed the pieces correctly. So the last move was sorry, not correctly, this is here. The last move was knight h4, and another possible move was knight e5. So if you get the book, you will be able to see that line, because the author has made analysis of it. Okay, let's continue. After knight h4, if you are black now, what would you play? You should pause the video and try to decide what will you play in this critical position. Okay? If you don't want to pause the video, let's continue. Boom. Knight takes f2. It is not clear if this is objectively the best move, but it is clearly the move with the best practical chances. When Fine played rook fe1, he was probably thinking of a follow-up like knight takes c3, queen takes c3, bishop takes h4, g takes h4, queen takes h4, when his bishop on c7 keeps everything under control. But probably not really under control. Let's see what happens now. King takes f2, bishop takes h4, g takes h4. By the way, keep in mind that rook h1 not a good idea, okay? Because black plays queen f7. Okay, so g takes h4, queen takes h4, check, and king e3. Obviously king g1 seems that it's more dangerous, and here there is a line to prove it that gives black a winning attack. Okay, e5, boom. And this is a move is important, not only because it's nearly opening the lines, but because it's cutting this bishop out. Okay. And in fact he says black has to continue as ferociously as he can, because otherwise white consolidates. Besides, the queenside pieces should be activated. And here is the problem. We are at move 20. This rook is out of the game, this is out of the game, this still need to go a little more near. D takes e5. This is not the best choice, but strangely they didn't put a sign to say if it was a bad move. Black continues with d4. King takes d4. Queen f2. And here think for a second, if you would play this, what would you play? Because obviously there is a checkmate in a couple of moves. So if you were black, now what would you play? Try to find it out. It's really an easy checkmate to spot. I will not spoil it. Eventually get the book and you will discover what is the checkmate. So the move he played was king d3, and this is a simul, so it's nice that he was able to see a couple of moves ahead. Knight takes e5, check. Bishop takes e5. Bishop f5, e4. Very interesting move. How do you continue as black? Because now you obviously need to continue strong to win. The move is rook d8 check. Bishop d6, because it's supported by this, but it's still a mistake. Here it says, fine, cracks under the pressure of black's sustained aggression. In a practical game, especially when you have to focus on 6 of them at a time, it was a simul against 6 players, it's hard to see that there is a move that practically refute black up to this moment. The move is knight d5, boom. And of course here it gives a line that is about 4 moves long, 4 or 5 moves long. Yeah, probably in a simul Fine didn't have the time to find it, because 4 or 5 moves long means honestly that he should have taken 10-15 minutes at least to calculate the line, and obviously this was a simul, right? So he didn't have the time. Rook d takes d6, check. C takes d6, and rook takes d6. And now he plays knight d5, but is not as good as it was before. Why? Because now black is able to win with this move. Queen g3, check. Now imagine this, white has a lot of possibilities. King d4, but rook takes d5 wins. Why? Because if you take back, obviously it takes the queen. So king d4 not really good. King c4, but he would take here, and also that is not good. Rook e3, not so good either, for rook takes d5 because this is a pin. And well, the best, but Fine didn't find it because Fine played king d2, but the best was this. I mean, it's crazy, but it's true, right? Because after queen takes d2, g2, you play king d1, boom. And that's nice, but after king d1, I don't understand. I think it's worth it to watch it a little over the board, okay? Let's watch it because I think this is very counterintuitive. I think it was found thanks to a computer because clearly the position is kind of complicated. After this, my problem that I saw immediately, they say obviously that the best move for black is queen f3, but the move I would play would be this, no? Because if this take, you can take, or you take with this and this checkmate, right? So after rook takes d5, white doesn't take because there is a checkmate, but plays king c1. And after this, tack, tack, he plays bishop g6, king c3, and rook g5, and the evaluation given here is that black is better. And of course, yeah, it surely is better because this is just 3 squares from promotion. This is another pass pawn, but once they arrive both here, one of the rooks will be gone in order to stop them. So yes, in this position, black is better. So let's return back. Okay, I think I put the pieces in correctly this time. Queen g3 was played giving check. White obviously played king d2, but it seems that king d2 is the losing move, also if they don't put the classical double question marks. Rook takes d5, king c1, queen takes e1, king b2, queen takes b4, king a1, queen d4, and queen b2. Queen takes b2, king takes b2, and rook b5. King c1, rook take, king take obviously, bishop g6. Well, at this point, yes, black has won because he has 5 pawns, kind of a killing, I think. But let's see how we continue, because Fine was known for his endgame technique. King f7, king d3, king e6, king d4, b6, bishop f1, c5, and here Fine gave up. The comments here is this game clearly shows the practical danger of attacking chances in a position where the center is stabilized and the board is thus more or less cut into 2 sectors. The next game is game 19, and let's go to see game 19.